me in the studio is Dr. Tracee Perryman. How are you?
I'm great, Miss Randi. How are you?
I'm glad to see you, and I'm doing really good. And I have Marcus Devine. How are you?
I'm doing great, Randy. Nice to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here as well. Now, Tracee, explain to me. We've talked before. You had a single out last year, the Fight song, and we talked about that and a couple of other projects that you were working on. But how did you hook up with the Motown here?
Well, after speaking with you on our first meeting, we strategized, to put it bluntly, about how I could take my career to the next level and how I could take some singles and actually put together a whole piece. And so through a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Lamont Hayes, he introduced me to Marcus Devine, and we talked for about an hour, and we really believed that we had like interests, similar styles in music. Talking to him, he was very interested in finding out what my vision was, and he saw his role as bringing my vision to reality. And so I thought that that was very impressive. I thought that he was very in tune with what I wanted, and very open and very creative. So it took probably about a minute to decide that this is going to be the producer for me,
good.
but we interviewed others, and so from there we took about 5 days to record an entire album.
I actually remember Marcus seeing some of Tracee's Instagram, showing some studio stuff that you all were doing.
Yes.
A lot of work.
Yeah, we had a ball though because Tracee, she came in with the songs already written, and I actually enjoyed the songs, so it made it easy to come up with different musical interpretations for me that would fit the songs, where she could keep her vision in the at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to do sometimes. Marcus, tell everybody a little bit about your background.
Wow. I've been producing a long time. I've been in music a long time. I've produced for Dietrich Hatton, Minute Standard. I wrote In Your Will for Minute Standard.
Get out. That's a hit. I just got chills.
Oh, wow. Minute Standard, I've written for secular artists like 112, Dave Hollister. I was music director for Kelly Price. This is a long list. We could be here all day.
Yeah, so that is really cool. That's why I like this pairing, because I know, Tracee, from our last conversations that we've had, it was very important for you that you had the right people in place.
Absolutely, and people that shared the same level of conscientiousness about the final product. Those who are not afraid of challenges. Those are things that really work for me in all of my professional work. And so that was the fit that Marcus brought to the table.
And you're a perfectionist. We talked about this before.
Yes, we did.
You're a perfectionist, and I think that what you needed most, and what all of us need who are perfectionists, is a sense that you can have somebody who can tell you, well, that's not exactly the way it should be done, but we're going to work with you on this, but also push you to where you need to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we can't always have someone, I know on my kids, I can't always have someone to tell me, yeah, we're going to do it just like you said, because they may have a better idea that can help you.
Absolutely. And for me, I understand that in all my work, that you're as good as the people around you, and knowing clearly what your role is. So I was very clear that my role was to arrange, to come up with lyrics, to come up with the chord progressions, but I never thought that I was an expert in terms of how we coordinate those, how we bring in and leverage other instruments to bring that vision together. So I was very clear that I know what I want, but how to get it there, that's where I needed the assistance. And so because we were both, as professionals, Marcus is the consummate professional,
yeah, for sure.
We're able to speak with each other candidly and clearly. I knew and valued what he brought to the table, and he knew and valued what I brought to the table. So it was very easy to work together, and I think that's why we put the album together in record time, because we both knew our roles, and we didn't try to step in the other person's lane.
That's good.
Right.
That is really good. So with this new project, did you do it here, Marcus, or did you do it in Toledo?
No, I did it here at my studio in Southfield. She came up.
In Southfield.
She came up every day, and we worked, until we got tired, and she went home and she came back the next day. It was just fun because the songs, I enjoyed the songs so much. We did another interview, and I was like, she shocked me as creative as she is. And I was like, whoa, I was blown away.
Because I think that a lot of people, it's Dr. Tracee Perryman, and your background is what?
My PhD is in social work with a minor in education. So I think as a child and even as an adult, that I've always kind of been that person that had multiple interests.
Sure, for sure.
So it kind of depends on where you know me from. So in an academic space, it's Dr. Perryman. In a professional space, I wasn't always Dr. Perryman. So I had to really combat where, okay, this is no longer Tracee, the young professional that's trying to find her way. This is Dr. Perryman, the established professional that has some experience under her belt and something to give.
Right.
So the professional world has seen me in different places. But if you come to church, even though I'm an ordained deacon, it's like, oh, that's just Tracee. You know, she sing, you know, and she plays. So it really depends on the space in which you know me.
I think that God has a way of giving us, and we've talked about this before, talents and gifts that can propel us to other arenas.
Yes, absolutely. And for me, once I finished my PhD, you know, you write a book, it's 200 pages, and you learn a lot about one narrow thing. And that's the misconception that people have about education. The farther you go, the more specialized you become. And oftentimes, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know.
Yes.
So you learn how to, it's not so much that you become someone that has a lot of information, you become a better consumer of information. And you get more skilled at how to find information. So after I got done, I said, well, I've learned all these wonderful things about, you know, social work and how the world works, and I've learned a lot about life along this way, but very few people are going to read that book. So how do I take the lessons I've learned that I've been able to see through science and see through practical living and put them together in a way that reaches more people and can go farther than if you come through my agency door and receive services or in one of my college classes I teach. And that's where the music actually, after I graduated, tied together and said, okay, you've learned all these abstract things. Now, how do you make them more simple and more universal and take it across to larger audiences?
Wow, you got lots of little bridges connecting.
Yes.
I absolutely love it. Well, you have in your brand new project, what is it called?
Today.
And why did you name it that?
Well, and I'm hoping that at some point this album will turn into a book. And I'm thinking through and writing through there is lessons from today. And so oftentimes we can be so caught in the past that we can't take advantage of today, or we miss the lessons of today. Sometimes we're too preoccupied with the what if and the future that we can't really appreciate what's going on today. And so that embodies just the processing of what God has done, what he's revealed, what he's taught us in the right now, to use it right now. And then also to not overthink that the future will take care of itself.
Amen.
As long as we're aligned with what God's will is for our lives.
Amen.
So that's kind of how I came up with that. Also, that as we talked about last time, it's just sometimes, and I think even in the world we're looking at right now, we need God right now. Like sometimes we can be so heavenly minded that it's no earthly good. And how do I take all of these things in faith, what I know he'll do, and help it speak to me right now?
And you have to do it, and you have to do it today. Now, you had the fight song, which you did a remix of.
Yes, I did do a remix with Marcus, and we brought a different blend, different flavor. I would say more pep, more room in it to really take those pieces of the band and allow there's space in it for different sections to jam, different different instruments to jam, and sometimes stay right in that space and really get empowered and let the music get us empowered to go and do the next thing.
So, Marcus, when you remixed the song, Fight Song, hearing it from the first, what did you take from Tracee that needed to be put in the remix?
The funny thing is, I don't even think I really listened to the original version, because what I didn't want to do is be pigeonholed to make it sound like it did before.
Oh, good.
So the remix, I wanted
cool.
it to be something totally fresh, and I went totally off of Tracee. Our process is, okay, sit down, Tracee, play the song. She played the song out, and me and my brother, which is my production partner, we would let her play it, and he'll get on the keys, and then we'll add our flavor to it, and that's how we came up with the remix. And the beautiful thing about it, she gave me total freedom. She wasn't a writer that was like, no, I'm not. I didn't have that in mind. Oh, nope, I don't like that. Like it was, you know, even though I kept turning around to her saying, "You like that? You like that?" But she was, you know, she gave me total freedom to interpret her music the way I heard it.
That's fantastic.
And one thing I'll tell you, one of the strengths, Marcus's music and interpretations have so many strengths, but one thing is that he makes an instrumental that is so full. There are so many pieces to it, and you'll miss them. Like at different times, you'll pick up on different nuances by
I love that.
the way he puts different sections in, the way he puts in different instruments. And so it's so very, very full. And I still hear new stuff every time I hear it. And I know a lot just in my past experiences that you'll hear heaviness maybe in the keys and then a few little accents sprinkled in. But everything that he puts, it is so intricately placed. And each piece plays off each other. Yes.
Yes, everything has a purpose, and that's how I build my my tracks. Michael Powell, which produced Anita Baker, you know, he did like I think all 3 of her first projects. He told me one day, he told me about masking, and he was like, "Don't put it in there if you can't hear it."
Oh.
So that's what, when I was young, I was about 19 years old, he had that conversation with me, and that's the way I build my tracks. What is it there for? You have people who just want it big. Sometimes big is noise, you know? And I don't want noise, I want music. You may hear a sound just one time in the song, but it's there for a reason to create some kind of emotion.
I love picking up on nuances like that, and my sister tells me that, you know, I just have this weird gift that I hear stuff in a song that maybe the average person wouldn't hear it, but, you know, I'm drawn to a different sound, you know, and maybe that's what I would feel when we play the song.
Yeah. When I was, I had a problem doing the same thing you just said, where you pick up on things. Fred Hammond had his first solo record, I Am Persuaded. He had this sound in his song that I could never listen to this song when I tried to go to sleep, because this one sound would pick with me the whole time, and I could not block it out of my head. It was the craziest thing. So I used to dissect music like that.
Yeah, yeah. And spending time in Oak Park in Mike Powell's studios, man, that just brought back some memories for me.
Yes,
absolutely, absolutely.
And Marcus is an extraordinary singer as well, and that was a value that I got out of the experience that I wasn't even looking for. So he is a consummate vocal coach, and so as we talked before, I was intending to just be a writer. I wasn't intending to really perform much, but he was giving me wisdom all the time I was recording, like you're overthinking this note, and you know, just have fun with it, or consider, you know, this note as opposed to that note, and blending things like that. So I took away so much from him regarding the vocals that it has helped my singing and performing tremendously since we started working together.
Wow. I absolutely loved it. Well, the new single is called
He Will.
And where did the background for that come from?
Well, I was sitting at my parents' piano in their house, and the TV was in the background. The piano's in the living room, and it was on CNN. And so it was just negative report after negative report, just invoking fear. And I remember sitting there just playing around, actually with the melody to He Will, which I had wrote the melody probably 17 years ago.
Wow.
But I never had the words that were just right for it. So, and I typically in my process, I don't write words and melodies together. Like I write good melodies and then I write lyrics and then I figure out what lyrics have the right tone for the melody.
Nice.
I don't force it. And so I was sitting there, I said, this is driving me crazy. And then the words came. I was just playing the chords, and then the words came, surrounded by hostility, threatening your sanity, spirit broken, or your joy has been stolen. If you're ready for a change, I'll show you the way. Just keep walking by faith. So if you've been searching for a peace that you cannot find, if you've been living and still not satisfied, now's the time. His arms are open wide. All you need, he will supply.
Whew, that's powerful.
Yes.
What happened when you were presented that song?
They were all basically the same way you feel right now when I would hear it. But it always started with the music, so I was already in. Let's go, you know. And then when she get in the booth and she started singing it, then I really get a chance to hear and see the big picture of the song.
Right.
So it was incredible.
Wow, that is so cool. So outside of the music, you have your business. You and your mom help so many young people in Toledo.
Yes.
And it's called the Center of Hope.
Yes.
And how's that going?
Center of Hope is growing tremendously. And so, you know, we were talking about doing things last year, and based upon the volume of the business last year, it seemed like it would be really easy. This would be a good time to try to work on something else. Because I'm always, even though I try to tell myself, be into the moment of today, I can't help but think ahead as to we don't want to wait until one industry is decreasing to try to figure out how you're going to supplement it. So, so I thought, okay, this would be a good time. Well, the agency has grown significantly since then, and so sometimes you get all your blessings at once. And so we've been doing Ohio Department of Education after-school programming for years and years, and we were awarded 2 Ohio Department of Education grants. So every day we provide comprehensive after-school services to 100 kids who are at risk for for educational failure. During the day, we work in the Juvenile Detention Center, and we work with families of locked up youth.
Wow.
We also work with parents who are in arrears on child support and facing incarceration. So we're very busy.
Wow, you are busy. You told me something about having kids work with one of the songs.
Yes. When we started the year, we met with both of the principals, and one of the principals said, you know, Elevate is such a good name. It sounds like a theme song. And so I've done work with the Children's Defense Fund Freedom Schools, and they had a song that they would sing in their Harambe period, their opening period, to help children get on one accord, group ride. And so that's what kind of led to the writing of that song. So I did write a song for them that they just heard last week. Marcus and I got together probably the night before, and in about 2 hours we recorded a song for the kids.
Oh my goodness, that is so much fun. Well, if anyone wants to get a hold of you, find out more about your music and what's going on with you musically, how do they find you?
Well, I would say in this day and age, social media is probably the best way. So you can check out my Facebook page at Perryman, P as in Paul, E for Edward, 2 R's for Richard, Y, M for Mary, A, N for Nancy, D as in dog, RP. 1127. So Perryman Dr. P 1127. You can find me on Facebook. You can also go to my website, tperrymanphd.org.
Yeah, you got some great stuff. And what's going on with you, Marcus? What's coming up?
Right now I'm on tour. I'm the music director for 112, Jagged Edge, and Genuine.
They were just on Willie Mo's show.
Oh, wow.
112.
Okay, yeah. So I'm on tour. I'm their music director. And speaking of 112, I just produced 4 songs on their new album that came out in October. I just released a project of my own called In My Feelings.
I love it.
So it's just a lot of things going on. Building my company. I want to stop really just chasing the dollar as far as the music business, because the music business is no longer the same.
It's
You have to
different.
create your own lane. And that's
Absolutely.
really what my focus is right now.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing the same thing.
Yes.
You're doing the same
Yes.
thing. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for hanging out with me
You're so welcome.
and listening
you.
to some great music. And you all go to CD Baby and look up.
Tracee Perryman.
All right, and get that CD. It is called
Today.
Today.
And it is also on all the digital outlets, so you can find me on Apple Music and Spotify and all the others.
Ooh, get it, girl.
Thank you.